What's up, baby girl?
Hey everyone, in this video, I'm going to talk about freenbecky and their unpaid dues, the hate toward Climax for straight baiting and lesbian scenes, Girls Rule and BB FanFest, and also this new girl crush in GL fandoms. Let's get into this fun video. Freenbecky fans are mad at Saint, the former CEO of Idol Factory, for not paying their artists and staff. A lot of people from Idol Factory have come forward with claims about unclear or unpaid payments. Reportedly, Freen hasn't been paid up to 10 million baht, and Becky hasn't been paid around 20 million baht. Yesterday, the media asked Faye about their payments, and they said something like this. They shared that they've received some of their payments, but there's still a portion that hasn't been paid yet. They're still hoping to receive it, but at the same time, they're trying not to expect too much so they don't feel disappointed. At this point, they said they'd rather focus on the things they can control, and if the remaining payment comes through, then that would be a good bonus. Now, why are fans mad at Saint? From my understanding, it mostly has to do with the fact that he seems to be very conveniently moving on from all of this without really facing consequences or taking responsibility. Technically, he left Idol Factory and sold his shares before everything completely collapsed. He left before the ship sank. I don't know all the behind-the-scenes details of how these companies operate, but it does look like Saint saw things coming. He resigned as CEO, sold his shares, and then later came out in the media saying he was scammed, trusted the wrong people, and lost all his money. He even said he has to start from zero again. At first, a lot of people, including me, felt sympathy for him. But now, months later, looking back at everything that came out after he left Idol Factory, it doesn't look as innocent as it was made to seem. Mr. Chen, the co-founder, even threw shade at him on Instagram, calling him selfish for leaving everyone behind. Some well-known stylists also threw shade at Saint when staff started speaking up about not receiving payments for months. There was also a rumor that Becky was upset with Saint and that her manager unfollowed him, but I don't really have solid proof for that, so take it with a grain of salt. But also, the question is, all of this happened while Saint was literally the CEO of the company. He was involved in the production of their shows, he was part of the company's management, he had authority. But he's the only one who hasn't even once taken responsibility for any of this. Not even a single apology to the unpaid artists, the staff, the makeup teams. No acknowledgement at all. He claims he was also a victim of some scam, but he never took any visible legal action against it or provided any real details about what actually happened. And now he's doing interviews, talking about finances, even giving lectures to college students. Seriously, brother. Your last company literally went bankrupt. I'm not sure you're the right person to be giving financial advice right now. To be honest, Saint's whole scam story is hard to buy. There are too many loopholes, and it looks like he conveniently left the sinking ship without taking responsibility for the damage and unpaid labor that happened under his management and authority during his time as CEO of Idol Factory. He's clearly moving forward. Recently I saw he was at the Channel 3 anniversary event talking about taking on acting roles and new opportunities. But every time fans see him, the response is the same. Pay up, pay your artists. And I think, technically, since he left Idol Factory earlier, maybe legally he doesn't have to answer for everything anymore. But fans aren't going to forget this anytime soon. They keep calling him a scammer and dragging this issue back into conversation again and again. And the artists still haven't been fully paid. Last time Becky was asked about her lawsuit, she clearly said she hasn't received a single penny. What she has received is a request to reduce the payment amount and extend the deadline. Of course, everyone has fans, even Saint, who are defending him very blindly. They keep arguing that he had no authority over any of this, while he was literally the CEO of the company. It's hard to believe he didn't know what was going on. If anything, he knew the company was going to collapse, and that's why he left early. From a business perspective, this situation looks really bad, not just legally, but ethically. Even if he managed to exit in a way that protects him legally, when you're the CEO, you represent the company. You benefit when things go well, and you're expected to take responsibility when things go wrong. Walking away without addressing unpaid staff and artists damages trust, not just with fans, but within the industry itself. And in entertainment, reputation is everything. You can start over, rebrand, take on new roles, but unresolved issues like this will always follow you. Until the people who worked under that company are properly paid, this conversation isn't going anywhere. I am absolutely loving the outrage of straight people over watching two women being intimate on screen. Episode 8 of Climax, which I mentioned in my previous video, actually exceeded my expectations. My jaw was literally on the floor after watching it, and it has started such an outrage among fans of the show and the straight ship. For once, the straight ship is sinking, and they don't know how to take it. They just can't wrap their heads around the fact that the main female lead is gay. These are the same people who say they're not homophobic, but completely start spiraling when their female lead ends up with another woman. The same kind of people who got upset over Michael turning into Michaela for Francesca season in Bridgerton. Their outrage over a lesbian intimate scene is so unnecessary and stupid to me that I had to rant about it. I can't really talk about Climax without some spoilers. This show is currently airing and is literally the talk of the town, with an amazingly talented and popular cast. I've been following this show from the very first week, even before I knew there was going to be any queer or lesbian storyline in it. And it's actually funny because, unlike most K-dramas where we complain about queerbaiting, this show flipped the script and straight baited people instead. Before its release, there wasn't a single hint that the show would include women loving women themes. They kept it completely under wraps, just like it unfolds in the story itself. And I think that was a smart move. Because looking at the outrage and the homophobia right now, and knowing the history of censorship around GL content in K-dramas, if people knew beforehand, they probably would have tried to get it canceled before it even aired. Now people are arguing that they were straight baited into watching the drama, and only after 8 episodes realized that the main lead is homosexual and has zero attraction to her husband. But that argument is so funny and doesn't even make sense. Because if you were actually paying attention to the story, the signs were always there. Small spoiler here, because I can't explain this without context. There are 3 main characters. Chu Sung-ah is an actress who is getting older and is desperate to stay relevant in the industry. After her tax evasion scandal in Korea, she lost public support, brand deals, and opportunities. So now she's putting everything into her upcoming movie, trying to make a comeback because she keeps saying she doesn't want to fade away. She refused to do the dirty work for Lee Yang-mi, who is the villain of the series. She married into a chaebol family, and there's a lot going on with her storyline, but just know she's constantly interfering with both the husband and wife. Now, Chu Sang-ah is married to a prosecutor, Tae Seop. He has his own agenda. He wants revenge against powerful rich people. Their marriage was never about love. It was transactional from the very beginning. He kind of blackmailed her into marrying him, and in return he helped her in the past when she was involved in a murder investigation. So yeah, this whole marriage is built on strategy, not feelings. They both have their own goals. He wanted access to elite society. Through her, she became a trophy wife. He got that. He became a well-known prosecutor, and his ultimate goal is to become the mayor of Seoul. This man has been playing the long game for years. So they stay in this marriage for their own benefit. But here's the thing. While he eventually falls in love with her and treats the relationship as real, she never does. And this is what confuses me about people crying straight baiting. Like, are we watching the same show? Because from early on, literally around episode 3, it was already hinted that Chu Sang-ah is attracted to women. Not even hinted, shown. She had feelings for her friend, who was also another actress in the industry, Jisoo. They were lovers. So this whole outrage of we were tricked doesn't even make sense. You just weren't paying attention. All of this was shown in like the second week of the show. So why are you acting like you were straight baited into believing the husband and wife were in love, when she clearly wasn't? Like, be serious for a second. Maybe some people convinced themselves like, oh, she was gay in the past, maybe she's not anymore. I don't know. I don't have any other explanation for this level of denial. And then when Nana's character, Jungwon, who was literally working with her husband as an informant, comes in, there's tension between them for 5 whole episodes. Not even subtle tension. Like very obvious, very intentional build-up, K-drama slow motion style shots and everything. And then finally, by episode 8, they kiss like 4 times and they make out. And suddenly, people start crying straight baiting. No, you just refuse to see what was right in front of you. You refuse to accept that these 2 women could actually be in love and might be the endgame. That's the real issue. Because let's not forget, when Sang-ah was literally dying, she left a letter for Jungwon, not her husband. That wasn't manipulation, that was real. And Jungwon, she was ready to go full ride or die for her. Like actually ready to end that man for her. I know it sounds insane when you say it out loud, but I can't help it. I love a toxic Yuri. Women being completely unhinged for each other, I eat that up. Sorry your straight ship isn't endgame, but it was never set up to be endgame in the first place. And it's hilarious reading long essays from people saying, I'm not homophobic, but, and then proceeding to crash out because Jungwon stole Tae-seop's wife. Like, do you hear yourselves? And then we have the final scene of episode 8, which really sent some people into a meltdown. That intimate scene between Sangha and Jungwon, yeah, that one. People are calling it unnecessary, saying it should have been cut, saying it was too much, too Western. Some are even trying to convince themselves it was just part of the movie they're filming inside the show. It's not. And let's be honest, if this was a straight intimate scene, no one would be writing essays about how unnecessary it is. But because it's two women, now it's a problem. I mean, these people are completely fine with everything else this show's doing. There are scenes of literal essay. There are scenes of older women hiring young male actors and sleeping with them. There are scenes of a husband beating his wife. There are scenes of a husband forcing himself on his wife. All of that is fine, no problem, it's cinema, it's art. Complex storytelling. But the moment two women consensually make out, now suddenly it's too much? Now it's unnecessary? That's where you draw the line? Be serious. So all that violence, abuse, and exploitation is acceptable. But two women consensually choosing make love to each other is where the show become problematic? That tells me everything I need to know. And oh my God forbid Sangha, after everything she's been through after losing her first lover, finally gets a moment of intimacy and connection after so many years with another woman. Now suddenly, people are writing essays about artistic integrity. Please, if this was a heterosexual scene, no one would be complaining like this. Not to this extent. All this, it's too explicit, and too Western talk is just excuses. Thinly veiled ones. Anyway, I think I've said enough on this topic. There are only 2 episodes left. I'm not getting my hopes too high, but I still want Sangha and Jungwon to be endgame. As for that recording situation, I don't think she even knew about it. That's definitely Lee Yang-mi's doing. We'll have to wait till next Monday for the finale. And what makes this even funnier is that while fans are losing their minds, Joo Ji-hoon himself is completely chill about it. In his interview with Chosun News, he literally said the show was originally meant to be 19+, but they toned it down to 15+ for broadcast. He even talked about that bathroom kiss scene that went viral, said it wasn't meant to be that intense, but it just came across that way on screen. And more importantly, he defended the GL aspect. He basically said, homosexual and bisexual people exist, so it's realistic to include that in the story. Exactly. I just wish some of his fans had that same level of common sense and openness. And I'm not gonna lie, Nana playing a girl kisser? Yeah, that's a win for me. She's always been popular among lesbian for over a decade now. Her being a girl kisser is dream come true. Let's keep the straight baiting coming if this is the result. I love seeing homophobes get rage baited. I'm sorry. This show is messy, toxic, dramatic, pretty dark, age gap Yuri that have personally betrayed homophobes because a fictional woman didn't end up with a man. I'm obsessed. I need more of this. Okay, I need to stop before I go on another rant. Let's move on. We also got the BB FanFest 2026 announcement, and look at the visuals. They are so damn pretty. Like, whoever worked on that, give them a raise. And their press tour have absolute crackhead energy. Bonnie and Kapook were so unhinged, I don't even know what got into them.
เด็กกว่าแล้วไงครับกินเด็กก็น่าเด็กไงเด็ก จะเป็นแบบแต่งรามสด What's up baby girl โอเคตื่นมากดบัตรกันให้บึ้มเลยนะคะโย่ที่กระปุกโย่ไม่ไปเลยซิก
วันมะรืนกระปุกว่าง
I'm actually so excited for Moonshadow and Enemies with Benefits. The lineup is looking good. Now about girl rules. The biphobia debate is still going on, and I already talked about it a bit. I do think some of the dialogues came off as biphobic. Now, whether that's intentional and part of the story, we still have to wait and see. Are they going to address it properly? Or just move on like nothing happened? That's the real question. But at the same time, I also feel like the amount of hate toward the director is a bit over the top. Yes, we can sit here and break down what could have been done better, and trust me, we can talk about that for hours, but overall, this is still a pretty solid show. And JoJo has actually done a satisfying job compared to a lot of other projects out there. Let's see where it goes from here. But overall, despite all the criticism, this show is not bad at all. Lastly, an update on Tungpang's dating rumors. Her company already denied everything, saying the guy in question is her cousin and that there's no romantic relationship between them. Now, normally, I don't like pointing out where toxic fan groups are from, but this time I have to, because this same Chinese group already went after Mim, and now they're doing the exact same thing to Tungpang. They came up with this very sarcastic response basically saying, "Our deepest apologies. How foolish of us to not know cousin marriage is legal in Thailand." Yes, Thai law technically allows cousin marriage. It bans direct blood relations like siblings or parent-child, but the way they're using that argument is just weird. They're basically saying that even if the company confirmed he's her cousin, it still doesn't prove the relationship is platonic. So now the narrative is, he's her cousin and possibly her boyfriend. At this point, they're not even trying to make sense. They've already decided what they want to believe, and now they're just bending logic to fit that story. So honestly, what's even the point of arguing anymore? They're going to believe what they want to believe. And lastly, we have a new crush in GL fandoms. It's none other than Mint Rancherui. She's a Channel 3 actress who's been around for a while, but a lot of GL fans are just now discovering her through viral clips from the recent anniversary event and that football match. And suddenly, everyone is obsessed. Fans are saying she looks like the daughter of Charlotte and Linling, which is funny because she kind of looks like everyone. I've even seen people compare her to TK. The face card is insane. Now everyone is begging Channel 3 to cast her in a GL. And I mean, they already have strong visuals in the GL lineup, so why not one more addition? Let's recruit her into the GL. Alright, that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching.